And welcome back to The Price of Business. This is Sigmund Kramer, and I've got Lance Malone. Lance Malone with Standard Supply. He's been a contributor for The Price of Business here for a couple of years now. Lance, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Sigmund. How are you today?
Doing well, thanks. And you're joining us from the Big D, the Dallas area right now. And you've got a guest. But first, before you get to your guest, please tell us about Standard Supply and what you folks have been doing for the HVAC community for a long time.
Sure, Sigmund, I'd be happy to do that. Standard Supply is a distributor of heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration products. And what we do is we inventory great products from all over the world so that we can help the best contractors in Texas take care of their customers when they have a problem in their home or business with their heating and cooling needs. And you can find out more about Standard Supply at ssdhvac.com.
Excellent. And you know, it's getting warmer out there. Spring has sprung, and with that, we're going to have warmer temperatures. So I'm sure they're going to really need your services now.
Absolutely. We're excited about that, of course. And I'm excited to have a great guest with me today. I've got Christine Thomason. Christine is the president of Metro Environmental Services here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They're actually located up in Louisville. And you can find out about their company at metroenv.com. That's metroenv.com.
Well, thanks for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, Christine, welcome to the program. And can you start by telling us a little bit about your background in the HVAC industry, and then tell us about Metro Environmental Services and what you guys do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I met a really cute little service guy back in 1978 in Houston. He happened to be a very good air conditioning technician, actually learned the trade in the Air Force and then vocational education in high school. He went on to college and got his associate's degree in air conditioning, and through our association, we eventually married, and I started helping him with the business. Taking calls, I heard what the problems were. He would come back in the afternoon, I'd ask him what the problem was and how he found that out. And so through a period of years, I learned a lot about the industry on the technical side, and then with my experience of being in the industry for 36 years now, I've gone to many classes and learned quite a bit about it. So we've been serving the area here in the Louisville, Dallas-Fort Worth area since 1989.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. So I'm sure you occasionally run into situations where maybe one of your competitors is offering the exact same type of system you offer, right?
On the surface, it appears that way. They present the same boxes, but not necessarily the same job.
Okay, I'd like to dig into that a little bit, but I guess in that situation, I mean, your customer would just want to choose the one with the lowest price, right? I mean, let's say you're looking for a Ford, and you go to two different dealerships, and they give you the same price on the same car with the same options. Then it becomes just a matter of who gives you the best price. So air conditioning is the same, right?
Well, people like to think so, but actually it's very different because the level of service, the quality of the installation, and the process they actually use in determining the size, and then also the quality of the installation afterwards when they check it and say, okay, let's go through this checklist to make sure we did this, this, and this. Good contractors also are going to pull a permit so that you have the oversight of the city inspectors to make sure that it was done properly and safely.
Outstanding. Yeah, you know, people ask me about that a lot, and people think that if you're comparing two companies that are installing the same model of air conditioner, then it should be about who gives them the best price for that install, and that's really not what it's about. I mean, there's a big difference in item like an automobile that you order, it's already complete, versus an HVAC system that installation is actually more important than the model itself. So there's a typical difference in the quality of installation from heat load calculations that you mentioned, and proper ducting and airflow and some of those other things that you look at. So let's tell the listeners about that a little bit. What is a heat load calculation?
Well, actually, a heat load calculation is where you measure the entire home and you determine what is it facing north, west, east, or south, what kind of insulation is in the attic, is in the walls, what type of insulated windows they do or don't have. Because what you have to determine is actually how much heat is getting into the home and how much cooling or temperature-controlled air is getting out. And based on that, you have to determine the actual proper size. An oversized system, people say, well, I'll just take a little more air conditioning than I need. It's not a problem. I'd rather have too much. The Problem is that can actually cost you more in the long run because the unit doesn't run long enough. And when they start up, they actually use a lot more energy than when they actually settle down and run for a longer period of time. And actually, most people don't realize this, but the state of Texas requires all air conditioning contractors to be licensed. And part of the requirements of a licensed HVAC contractor is that they perform a heat load calculation called a manual J, and that they also do a manual D for the ductwork to make sure you can change out a box and you still have a box. But if you don't actually design it properly with the proper air distribution system on your ductwork, you're not going to receive the energy savings because you're not going to produce the capacity you should.
Outstanding. That's great information. And you mentioned insulation. How do you go about evaluating insulation in the home when you're recommending a new system?
Well, what we do is we use the EPA guidelines for energy, and in this area of the country, they require it's about R49, anywhere from R38 to R60 is recommended, and we recommend our customers go with something about an R49 to help keep that down, so that you don't have to buy as big an air conditioning system if you have really good insulation in your home.
And how frequently do you find that the home has that level of insulation already when you come in to look at it?
Unless the home's just been built in, say, the last 5 or 7 years, you're just not going to find that because it does pack down over a period of time. And homes that are maybe 25, 30 years old, that does pack down, and you can see the roof rafters inside their attic, and then they're not getting much insulation value.
Okay, good tip. So you're going to offer your customer a custom-tailored solution.
I am, because when we put something in, we want to make sure that they get all the value that they're paying for and all the air conditioning they're paying for. So we're going to do a match system with AHRI certification so we can say this is what it should perform, and we're going to design a system and measure it afterwards. We're actually going to take measurements of the system to make sure it is putting out its capacity.
Outstanding. Now, obviously, you can't service every customer in the DFW Metroplex. I'm sure you wish you could, but there's a lot of people that live here. So what should someone look for when they're looking for a contractor that will follow the steps and offer them a proper solution? How can they identify that type of contractor?
Well, actually, the Air Conditioning Contractors Association, which is ACCA, ACCA for short, on their website, they actually have some good tools for that. One of them is how to evaluate your contractors. If you have 3 different contractors come in, there may be 20 different items of things that you're going to specifically look for, and you can rate whether or not that guy did it for you or not. The other thing is, how long have they been in business? Obviously, referrals is very important. Are they going to pull a permit on the job? Things of that nature.
Okay. So what about like if somebody has a room addition or they're adding on to their home, doing some type of remodeling, maybe closing in their patio or something like that? Any additional comfort requirements that they have in the house that weren't originally designed? How do you deal with that type of situation?
With about a minute left, Christine.
Okay, we see a lot of that, and sometimes people try to scab onto the existing system, and it just won't support. So Mitsubishi mini splits are a perfect example and a great solution for those problems.
Outstanding. Well, it's been great to have you with us today, Christine. I appreciate you being our customer and you being my guest on the show today. We've had Christine Thomason. She's the president of Metro Environmental Services. And you can find out more about their company at metroenv.com or give them a call at 972-245-1158. And I'm Lance Malone with Standard Supply. You can find out about our company at ssdhvac.com.
Great. Thanks so much, Lance. Thanks so much, Christine.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more of The Price of Business in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.